that third draft, he sent a child over to see MacArthur face to face with the new plan.
Yeah.
Well, I say that's when the new plan was, like I said, was as discussed. That's when MacArthur said, Alman has 3 days, to get his act together. In other words, to get us over there and help the Marines.
Yeah.
And I don't think it didn't say that order for the Marines was extended. See, it could have went ahead while we were coming in.
Yeah. So
there's nothing on paper that's saying that. Of course, that was when he talked to Childs face to face. Well, Childs comes back and he tells Alman what MacArthur told him. And apparently, what you got to get out of that, the way it happened was, well, Alman, do your thing. You're authorized to do whatever you have to do.
Which is what he's been doing for the most part. I mean, MacArthur was pretty good at giving Alman free reign. Yeah, and it's kind of...
Because he was winning, there was no sense in him in there, man. He
Well,
wasn't concerned.
Well, at least the Army side was producing, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, he did go over, he was concerned enough to go over to watch Walker launch his offensive on the 24th.
Yeah.
And he figured, well, that was going pretty well.
Yeah.
For the first couple days, anyway.
Yeah, they got up there to about the 26th, I think, is when they turned around. But the offensive was supposed to go off, like you said, on the 25th. Well, Walker's 8th was doing their job, even though their supply lines were kind of strung out. Because I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, Sam Arredondo will tell you that he got within 10 clicks on the western flank towards the Yalu. So, again, we're back to the horseshoe story. But I cannot find a map, right, that shows where the Marine Corps on November 14th at Hoggaroo, where it took them 11 days to get there. Now, you can find writing if you piece this story together through several different documents and books, right? But I've yet to see a book.
See, that's the strange thing. I got Appleman's book, like the South and the next on.
Yeah.
And it had in there about the maps he showed, but he didn't cover like ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Those maps weren't throughout his book.
Right.
And the book I got, there was never those maps were on there.
In the book itself.
Yeah, and I know Appleman would have done a darn. I'm not so sure though, because even Chosen, he just got dots for things. He wasn't good with maps.
Okay.
He just more or less put a dot here, this is you, Dominique, and but that's when he had that dispute, and he was supposed to write ebb and flow, and then he got so involved with Chosen, and he had an argument with them, so they said, well, we'll put Billy Mossman to write ebb and flow then. So he was cut loose, and that's when he was cut loose, he went to Chosen, writing that book on Chosen.
Okay.
But like I said, at the end of his book there, when he gets out on November the 15th, he closes out his book. And boy, it's just a shame that he wasn't in there just for that battle.
On November the 15th, he stops there.
Yeah, if he would have went to the end of the year,
Yeah.
he would have been covered all of that battle. But he closed it off. But like I said, the last chapter, that's when he said that with no enemy in sight, the Marines moved at the rate of only 1 mile per day.
And you just barely caught on to that.
Yeah, I caught it right at the tail end. I think it's the second last paragraph of the book.
Wow.
Where he kind of put that little snub in there. It says, no enemy in sight. They moved only at the rate of 1 mile a day.
From Hoggaroo to Udamne.
Yeah.
Okay, well that brought up one of my issues. When you get around the 25th of November, you had the 5th Marines, on the eastern side, and the 7th IDs coming in RCT 31. One battalion moves over. I think it was the 2nd Battalion. They move over first thing on the 26th, and they make it all the way from the east side of the Chosen down to Hoggaroo and over to Udamnee. That took them about a day, and that's passing through the concentration at Hoggaroo.
Yeah.
Right. The next thing you know, the 7th ID's moving up, so 31 RCT has made the turn there at Orrery, and they're coming up through the Funchillen Pass. You all had to stop at about noontime, so the 5th Marines, the remaining 2 battalions, I think it's 1 and 3, passing through Hoggaroo to get to Udamnee, and they get there about 4 or 5 o'clock that evening on the 27th.
Yeah.
Which gave you all very little time to dig in unless you took over existing foxholes and whatnot, which probably weren't that much to speak of considering how hard the ground was. Okay, just making sure I'm on the same page. You want to talk about Drake's tanks a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. The Drake's tanks were brought into the east side of the reservoir, right, at a place called Hudong. And Hudong sits just a little bit south and southwest of Hill 1221. I don't know what the scale is. I'm thinking it's about 4 miles.
Yeah, he what was known as the Plains rear CP.
Right, right. And we got maps that can verify that.
Of course, McLean, he was aggressive, so he was up with his forces, and he got trapped up there.
Right. The tanks couldn't get around
it.
it.
His CP. In other words, he would have been down there pushing all the action from that end.
Right. And the tanks couldn't get around it. I'm looking at one of these maps where it says, basically it shows the perimeter on the 29th, where the 132 at the top of the page here, 27, 29th, they're moving down into the causeway and across the bridge to form the new perimeter.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about, the day after the 27th. The fighting that occurred on the 27th, they're spread out from the most northern position of Faith all the way down through to the CP there at Hudong, which kind of explains why this map is so long. But I want to go through the breakdown of the traveling back, right? Officially on the 29th, O.P. Smith is put in charge of the entire operations, Hoggaroo and Coterie and all points north, correct?
Yeah, well, what I'm looking at here, I'm looking at the book here. I got in here, History of the United States Marine Operations in Korea.
Okay.
That's by James A. Fields Jr., Chapter 9, Retreat to the South. This was Part 1, 24 November to 6 December.
Okay.
D.C. and the West. And that's a good narration there. Up on the plateau, following the attack on the 27th and the 28th, comparative quiet range, but the enemy controlled the road, and the Marines and Army units had been separated into a series of isolated perimeters.
Okay.
In this situation, General Harris, the Marine Air Commander, had strongly recommended to the commander of the Navy Far East a sustained effort by the fast carriers in the 10th Corps zone, and had stated the 5th Air Force concurred in the proposal. But an evening dispatch from the Far East Air Force Command on the 29th indicated that such concurrence applied only to that day's operation, and asked, in view of the critical distribution in the Far East, in the ESAK area, gotta figure that out, a divided effort for the rest of the few days, and a message from a commander of the Naval Far East confirmed that the close support had priority over all the other commitments prescribed, such as distribution of carrier air efforts. So I got down here red flag. The Air Force, wise to General Harris's handling of the 5th Air Force in his erroneous statement to the Navy, he should have requested, as ordered, that next day authorization for this 5th Air Force, for the 5th Air Force. Because they still had the conflict. They had never worked out from 47 when they created the Air Force.
Okay.
From how this was handled when we got into a war. And the Navy and the Air Force were fighting one another.
Okay.
Like I said, Straightmeyer was the general. He told MacArthur way back in like July 4th. He told MacArthur, he said, we need some clarity here. He said, I'm asking that every plane that flies over land belongs to us, that we got control over.
Okay.
And the Navy has everything that's submarine defense and all that stuff over land, over the ocean. And he says he got kind of a torn up opinion on that. You know, he didn't get everything he asked for. So the Air Force and the Navy, through this area, they were having problems. And that was one of the things that Alman went up there and made an agreement with Harris, you know, about who would handle that. And they said, well, in other words, dealing with 10th Corps, Alman would be in charge, even of that air group.
Oh, really?
So there was a lot of conflict right there, see? So here, the sorties on the 30th were consequently divided. So divided that the schedule of the operation stepped up by the addition of the 5 jet fleets of 4 planes each. 39 sorties were sent up in the reservoir, while 74, included 23 jet sorties, were dispatched on armed reconnaissance, with instructions to report en route to any available Air Force control agency. See, in other words, they were setting up rules as they went along between the Air Force. Okay. And Smith was saying, we got priority. In other words, the Army was going to have priority. That's what he was saying.
Okay.
Well, you know darn well we never got it because they weren't going to give it.
Well, going back to sorties, I mean, I can ask you directly if you don't mind. You were up there from the 27th to December 2nd, I'm guessing. How much air support did you get on the east side, do you recall? And what days did you get it?
We got the daylight ones. We got the daylight flights. And of course, it got dark around, around 4 o'clock, and they took off. But they had night sorties. They had the night hecklers, which the Marines had all through the night.
And you all
never had any.
You all never had any?
Not any night flights.
Okay. Do you recall it?
So that was,
do you recall, and it's a little bit off subject, we'll get back to it, we'll get back to the Air Corps, but do you recall seeing C-130s doing runs over the ice as the men were walking south to Hagaru and kind of dispersing the Chinese, keeping them off?
No, not from our angle, what I was.
All right, that was
I
one.
don't think,
All right, let's talk about Beale for a minute. Bill is said to have been able to go out there on the ice and pick up individuals that were walking and bringing them back, and the number is somewhere around 300.
Yeah.
First of all, he was not the only one that did that. There was an Army guy that did that. He went up there with a Jeep and brought back 16. And then he borrowed a truck and went up there and brought back more, and then he did it again. And he was traveling up the road. He wasn't traveling the ice. Well,
Oh, okay.
I read that earlier today. There's a situation here where some books have reported that Bill had walked along the Task Force Faith and was overlooking the bodies that were left in the vehicles, and said he counted about 300 that had been killed and still in their vehicles. Now Vasula proves that wrong. He said there's no way that happened.
Yeah, well that has to be, you know, when you got even the thing, when you get Ed Reeves' version, you know, when you got Ed Reeves' version, like when he said they come along and we were definitely stopped.
Right.
And he said he heard the noise. He said, well, what is that noise? He said, well, he says, the Chinese are getting into the truck and they're executing all the men that's in the trucks.
Yeah, he took a shot to the head himself. It just kind of glanced off and he survived it.
It came to him and he says, Lord, here I come. And he says, he saw the rifle fire. And he said, there's something wrong here. He said, I'm still alive. And he says, you don't miss at 3 feet.
No, he does not.
It grazed his head. It grazed his head. And he said, then they found out he was still alive and they threw him off the truck and left him by the side of the road.
Yeah. Now Hampton's.
Then again, that I put this in here. This is the one. This is the one that Julia Precious told me. She said, Ray, she said, I never read that article. She said, I never saw that article. And she said, I had tears in my eyes reading that thing. I said, well, I picked it up at the hospital. I was over at the hospital and it was Stars and Stripes. That was their January edition.
This is the Ed Reeves. This is Ed Reeves' story.
News article, January 1951. Marines rescue 300 shot up EIs from the chosen ice.
Yeah.
By Charles Moore and the 1st Marine Division.
Now let me ask you a question. This is another thing that I found, that I read about today. It said that O.P. Smith ordered Bill out there on the ice. Is that accurate?
Oh, no, I've never saw where, I don't think he knew what was going on, really.
Yeah.
I think these men were coming in, and they were coming in by the hundreds, you know, and the ones that took time to get there.
It seems highly inaccurate to me.
Here's where I said they named Colonel Bill. They named 5 Marines. But out of the 300 and some men that supposedly rescued, not one of the Army guys was mentioned. Like, you know, they were events attributed to them, which was heroic, but the names were never mentioned from the guy who wrote that article.
Right. Well, we're talking about the east side, so there wouldn't have...
Like steel. They brought in most of the wounded Saturday, but got half a dozen more Sunday from Korean huts along the reservoir's edge. And we're still checking leads from the natives as to the whereabouts of others. Most of the men got out on the ice after Chinese communists ambushed a convoy of wounded soldiers on Friday night.
Yeah.
The Chinese riddled the trucks with submachine guns and grenades, overturned some, and set others afire with men in them.
Yeah. Well, it was...
And then they were saying there that Van Blunt said the men were located about 2.5 miles north of the northern tip of the reservoir. They were scattered over the ice almost as far as I could see, he said. It was the most horrible sight I've ever seen. Many were crying and hysterical. Some were sick and vomiting. Some had so many wounds you could hardly touch them without touching a wound. The Chinese would not shoot at the wounded on the ice, but would shoot at us when we started towards them.
Yeah.
We drew fire all the time, and water would squirt 3 feet high when a bullet went through the ice. But that was exaggerated, because, I mean, you were almost out of rifle range.
Yeah, if anything, it would just...
Some of the things, if a bullet hit you, it would just kind of raise a bump, kind of sting you a little bit.
Yeah. So it was just
about as cold as it was and everything. They were losing their punch.
Yeah, so they weren't penetrating the ice, they were basically just skipping it like a rock across the ice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they just barely chipped the ice, you know, the bullet.
Yeah, that...
Some of them were practically dismembered. One man had an eye shot away.
Okay.
Anyway, then, so they kept working on them. The Chinese took all of their food and a lot of their clothing.
All right. Let me...
The Chinese would shoot at us, pick up the wounded, and start to carry them. Then we would crawl up to them, and when we did, the Chinese would not shoot. Maybe they thought we were wounded too.
Okay.
I saw a lot of brave men today. There was one man pulling himself along the ice with his arms. They, "Don't bother with me," he said. "Get that man over there. He can't move." He could even joke about himself. He started across the ice as fast as he could by pulling himself with his arms and asked, "Did you ever see a man double time like this in your on ice?"
Wow. All right, let me put you on hold for a minute.
Here's what Bill, see.
Let me...
Now, Bill,
Hold on, Ray. Ray, let me hold you up for a minute. I need to change my chip out, okay?
Okay.
Let me pause you just for a minute and we'll go back to what you were saying.